8 warning signs and symptoms of stroke 1 month before it happens. Detect it quickly. Have you ever wondered if your body tries to warn you before a stroke happens? What if I told you that your body could be sending you warning signals up to a month before a stroke occurs? These signals, if detected early, could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. Every year, nearly 800,000 people in the United States suffer a stroke. That's one person every 40 seconds. And sadly, about 160,000 Americans die from stroke annually. But here's what's truly shocking. Many of these deaths could have been prevented if people recognized the early warning signs. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 8 most critical warning signs and symptoms that can appear up to a month before a stroke happens. By the end, you'll know exactly what to look for and what actions to take that could potentially save your life or the life of someone you love. What is a stroke? Before we dive into the warning signs, let's understand what a stroke actually is. A stroke occurs when the brain is deprived of oxygen. Though the brain is only 2% of your body weight, it uses 20% or more of your energy. It's incredibly metabolically active, working constantly whether you're awake or asleep. When the brain loses oxygen for just 10 seconds, you can lose consciousness. If that oxygen deprivation continues for 4 to 6 minutes, permanent brain damage occurs. Those cells that have been deprived of oxygen for that length of time die and don't come back. There are 2 primary types of strokes. The first type is ischemic strokes. These account for about 87% of all strokes and occur when blood flow to the brain is blocked, typically by a clot. The second type is hemorrhagic strokes. These make up the other 13% and happen when a blood vessel in the brain ruptures, causing bleeding into the brain tissue. While ischemic strokes are more common, hemorrhagic strokes are more deadly, with over 50% of people dying either immediately or within a year after the stroke. There's also something called a transient ischemic ataxia or mini-stroke. These are temporary disruptions in blood flow that don't cause permanent damage, but serve as serious warning signs of a potential future stroke. About 1/3 of people who have a TIA will have a full stroke within a year, and in one study, 43% of stroke patients had experienced a TIA within the previous 7 days. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. Your body often tries to warn you before a major stroke happens. These warning signs can appear days, weeks, or even a month before the actual stroke. They're like alarm bells your body rings, hoping you'll pay attention. Now, let's go through the 8 critical warning signs that could appear up to a month before a stroke happens. If you notice any of these signs in yourself or a loved one, please seek medical attention immediately. Warning sign number 1. Persistent high blood pressure. The first and perhaps most overlooked warning sign is persistently elevated blood pressure. Blood pressure measures the force exerted by blood against your artery walls. When this pressure remains high over time, it can significantly damage your blood vessels. This damage can cause narrowing, weakening, or even rupture of the vessels, all of which contribute significantly to stroke risk. If a blood vessel in the brain ruptures due to high pressure, bleeding occurs, resulting in a hemorrhagic stroke. Similarly, if high blood pressure damages arteries that supply blood to the brain, it can reduce blood flow or cause an obstruction, resulting in an ischemic stroke. What makes this warning sign particularly dangerous is that high blood pressure often has no symptoms. It's called the silent killer for a reason. That's why regular blood pressure checks are essential, especially if you have a family history of cardiovascular issues. If your blood pressure consistently reads above 130 over 80 millimeters of mercury, consider it a potential warning sign and consult with your doctor immediately. Warning sign number 2. Unusual and excessive fatigue. The second warning sign that can appear a month before a stroke is unusual and excessive fatigue. This isn't your normal tiredness after a long day. This is an overwhelming, persistent exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest. If you're experiencing intense, persistent tiredness that's atypical for you and isn't related to physical exertion or lack of sleep, it could be an alarm signal. This excessive tiredness may be related to changes in blood flow to the brain due to narrowing of an artery from atherosclerosis or a possible clot forming, which interferes with the supply of oxygen. Many stroke survivors report experiencing unusual fatigue in the weeks or days leading up to their stroke. Your body is working overtime to compensate for reduced blood flow, which can leave you feeling completely drained. If you suddenly find yourself unable to complete normal daily activities due to fatigue, or if you need to rest frequently throughout the day when this wasn't necessary before, don't ignore it, especially if this symptom appears alongside any others on this list. Warning sign number 3. Vision problems. The third warning sign is sudden changes in vision. These changes can manifest in several ways: blurry vision, double vision, temporary loss of vision in one or both eyes, difficulty focusing, seeing floaters or spots. These vision problems occur because the parts of your brain responsible for processing visual information aren't receiving adequate blood flow. Even temporary vision issues should never be ignored, as they could indicate a TIA or mini stroke. One particularly telling sign is if you experience vision loss in just one eye, which may result from the blockage of an artery supplying blood to that eye. This often indicates an ischemic stroke, the most common type. If you suddenly find yourself unable to read text that was clear before, or if objects appear doubled or blurry without explanation, or even if blurry vision occurs for a few minutes and then it clears up completely, seek medical evaluation promptly. Don't dismiss these episodes as just tired eyes or aging. They could be warning you of an impending stroke. Warning sign number 4. Sudden and severe headache. The fourth warning sign is a sudden, severe headache that's different from any headache you've experienced before. This isn't your typical tension headache or migraine. It's often described as the worst headache of my life. In ischemic strokes, the headache occurs due to the obstruction of blood flow in the brain. In hemorrhagic strokes, the intense headaches result from increased pressure inside the skull due to bleeding, elevating brain pressure dramatically. Witnesses of stroke incidents often report seeing the affected person clutching their head, displaying an expression of intense pain, followed by a loss of consciousness. This reaction is particularly common in hemorrhagic strokes. If you or someone you know experiences a headache of unusual intensity that comes on suddenly, especially if it's accompanied by nausea, vomiting, or altered consciousness, treat it as a medical emergency. This type of headache can also indicate an imminent risk of an aneurysm rupture within the brain. Warning sign number 5. Numbness or weakness in body extremities. The fifth warning sign is numbness or weakness, especially on one side of the body. This symptom may manifest during a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, a temporary condition of reduced blood flow to a part of the brain. This sudden numbness or weakness typically affects a single body part like an arm, leg, or one side of the face, leading to decreased sensitivity or strength. You might notice facial drooping on one side, weakness in one arm or leg, inability to raise both arms to the same height, numbness or tingling in your face, arm, or leg, especially on just one side. Although these symptoms often last for just a few minutes to a few hours during a TIA, they should never be overlooked. They're your body's way of warning you that a more serious stroke could be imminent. The FAST method: face, arms, speech, time is a helpful way to remember the most common stroke symptoms, but these signs can appear weeks before a major stroke, giving you precious time to seek medical help. Warning sign number 6. Speech problems. The sixth warning sign involves speech difficulties. A person about to have a stroke may suddenly have trouble speaking, understanding speech, or forming complete sentences. These difficulties fall under the category of aphasia, which is the impairment in understanding, formulating, and expressing speech. You might notice slurred speech, using incorrect words, difficulty finding the right words, trouble understanding what others are saying, speaking in fragmented or incomplete sentences. If you or someone you know suddenly struggles to communicate clearly, or if words come out jumbled or don't make sense, this could be a critical warning sign of an impending stroke. Even if these symptoms are temporary and resolve on their own, they should be reported to a healthcare provider immediately. Warning sign number 7. Cognitive changes. The seventh warning sign involves cognitive changes. These can include confusion or disorientation, memory problems, difficulty with problem solving, trouble making decisions, personality changes. If you or someone you know suddenly seems confused about simple matters, gets lost in familiar places, or shows uncharacteristic behavior, these could be signs that parts of the brain aren't receiving adequate blood flow. These cognitive changes might be subtle at first, perhaps forgetting important appointments, having trouble following a conversation, or making uncharacteristic errors in judgment. Family members often notice these changes before the person experiencing them does. Don't dismiss these as senior moments or normal aging, especially if they appear suddenly or alongside other symptoms on this list. Warning sign number 8. Balance and coordination problems. The 8th warning sign involves problems with balance and coordination. This isn't just your average poor balance, but something that comes on suddenly and may include dizziness or vertigo, trouble walking, unexplained falls, lack of coordination, difficulty with fine motor skills. These symptoms occur because the areas of your brain responsible for balance and coordination aren't receiving adequate blood flow. If you suddenly find yourself stumbling, unable to walk in a straight line, or dropping things frequently without explanation, these could be warning signs of an impending stroke. Pay particular attention if these balance issues come on suddenly or are accompanied by other symptoms on this list. Your brain's balance centers are giving you important signals that shouldn't be ignored. Risk factors that increase your chance of stroke. Now that we've covered the warning signs, let's talk about the risk factors that make a stroke more likely. Understanding these can help you assess your personal risk and take appropriate preventive measures. 1. Previous TIA or stroke. If you've already had a TIA or stroke, your risk of having another one is significantly higher. 2. High blood pressure. This is the single most important risk factor for stroke. 3. Smoking and tobacco use. Smoking damages blood vessels and increases clot formation. 4. Diabetes. High blood sugar levels damage blood vessels over time. 5. Heart disease. Conditions like atrial fibrillation can lead to blood clots that can travel to the brain. 6. High cholesterol. This contributes to plaque buildup in arteries. 7. Obesity and physical inactivity. These increase the risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. 8. Poor diet. Diets high in saturated fats, trans fats, and cholesterol can raise blood lipids and promote atherosclerosis. 9. Excessive alcohol consumption. More than 1 drink per day for women or 2 drinks per day for men can raise blood pressure. 10. Stress. Chronic stress can contribute to high blood pressure and inflammation. 11. Age. Stroke risk doubles for each decade after age 55. 12. Family history. Your risk is higher if close relatives have had strokes. 13. Gender. Men have a higher risk of stroke than women at younger ages, but women have higher lifetime risk. How to prevent a stroke. The good news is that up to 80% of strokes are preventable with lifestyle changes and medical management. Here's what you can do. 1. Monitor your blood pressure regularly. High blood pressure is the leading cause of stroke. Keep it under control with regular monitoring, medication if prescribed, and lifestyle changes. 2. Maintain a healthy diet. Focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Limit processed foods, salt, and saturated fats. 3. Exercise regularly. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. Even walking for 30 minutes a day can significantly reduce your stroke risk. 4. Quit smoking. Smoking doubles your risk of stroke. Your stroke risk begins to decrease the moment you quit. 5. Limit alcohol consumption. Excessive alcohol can raise your blood pressure and increase stroke risk. Limit to 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men. 6. Manage diabetes. If you have diabetes, keep your blood sugar levels under control to reduce your stroke risk. 7. Maintain a healthy weight. Losing as little as 5 to 10% of your body weight can significantly reduce stroke risk. 8. Manage stress. Chronic stress can contribute to high blood pressure and increase stroke risk. Find healthy ways to manage stress, such as meditation, yoga, or spending time in nature. 9. Take medications as prescribed. This includes blood thinners if you have atrial fibrillation or other conditions that increase clot risk. 10. Get regular checkups. Regular medical checkups can catch problems before they lead to a stroke. What to do if you suspect a stroke? If you or someone you know experiences any of these warning signs, don't wait to see if they go away. Even if the symptoms are temporary, they could be signs of a TIA, which is a serious warning that a major stroke could be imminent. Remember the acronym FAST. F. Face drooping. Ask the person to smile. Is one side drooping? A. Arm weakness. Can they raise both arms? Does one drift downward? S. Speech difficulty. Is their speech slurred or strange? Can they repeat a simple sentence? T. Time to call emergency services. If you observe any of these signs, call emergency services immediately. Every minute counts during a stroke. For each minute that passes without treatment, about 2 million brain cells die. The faster you get treatment, the better your chances of recovery. Understanding these 8 warning signs that can appear up to a month before a stroke could save your life or the life of someone you love. By recognizing these symptoms early and seeking immediate medical attention, you can potentially prevent a devastating stroke from occurring. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. You never know whose life you might save. Subscribe to our channel for more health information that could help you live a longer, healthier life. And if you've experienced any of these warning signs or have a story about how recognizing stroke symptoms early made a difference, please share in the comments below. Your story could help others recognize these critical warning signs. Thank you for watching, and remember, when it comes to stroke, early detection saves lives.